guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back with some Q-related news, and it is Sunday, May 12th, and it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to you mothers. And we all have one, or had one at one point, and if you still have yours, be very thankful and cherish her while you still have her. All right, now let's get into some Q-related news here, just because we can. And first of all, that's the wrong, didn't mean to go there. All right, now I know I often say that your comments make me laugh, and they really do. And I've decided that I think I'm going to every now and then just highlight some of the exceptional comments. And this was one of them in response to the headline that the United States accused Vietnam of manipulating its dong, which of course is the name of its currency, but that headline, there was something really, really wrong with that. And I am sure that they meant that the way it came across. Otherwise, they would have said the U.S. accuses Vietnam of manipulating its currency. But anyway, so in response to that, one of our listeners, J.J. Dillon, who often has very good comments, funny comments as well. There's many of you that have funny comments, by the way, but this was exceptional. And so J.J. Dillon said, "Dong manipulation is a crime. One could end up in a penal colony." You must admit that's pretty awesome. He had another one, but you will have to go back and find that one. It's a little bit risque, so I didn't. It was basically about Stormy Daniels, and well, it was along the same line as dong manipulation. All right, anyway, let's move on. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this. Hot off the press from today, actually. So really hot off the press. And it's not that she lost 37 pounds for her wedding by taking this pill. That's not what I'm trying to highlight here. I just wanted to let you know. Okay. What the hell? Democrat darling Rashida Tlaib says thinking of Holocaust gives her calming feeling. She must be the only one, or one of the only ones anyway. Democrat darling Rashida Tlaib told the podcast Skullduggery that when she thinks of the Holocaust, she gets a calming feeling knowing her ancestors helped create a safe haven for Jews. Okay. Let's listen.
Created something of a stir by coming out in favor of a one-state solution in Israel and Palestine. And I think you may be the only Democrat who's publicly supported a one-state solution. So what is your vision for a one-state solution that meets both Palestinian and Israeli or Jewish national aspirations?
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I mean, for me, just a few, I think 2 weeks ago or so, we celebrated, or just it took a moment, I think, in our country to remember the Holocaust. And there's a kind of a calming feeling I always tell folks when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust, and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land, and some lost their lives, their livelihood, the human dignity, their existence in many ways have been wiped out, and some people's passport. I mean, just all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy and horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that.
Yeah, talk about a twist. She's talking about the Holocaust, and then she's talking about her ancestors, of course, the Palestinians, and how, they lost their lives, they lost their land, and whatever. Like, I don't even know what you would call that. It's like a backwards, you ever have a compliment, someone compliments you, but it's a very backward comment. I'm trying to think of, you know, like, oh, that dress doesn't make you look as fat. Like, okay, like that's you know, one of the backward comments. That's what she's doing here. Anyway, let's move on here. During World War II, the Palestinian Grand Mufti met with Fidel Castro and allied himself with the Nazis. So the Palestinian Muslim leader at the time was supporting the elimination of Jews, not the opposite as Rashida Tlaib sees it. The Washington Times reported Representative Rashida Tlaib has made yet another shocking and historically ignorant claim that thinking about the Holocaust gives her a calming feeling because her Palestinian ancestors provided a safe haven for Jewish victims of the tragedy. Tlaib, a close ally of Representative Ilhan Omar, who is no stranger to anti-Semitic controversies herself, made the latest statement on a podcast called Skullduggery in an episode titled From Rashida with Love. There's always kind of a calming feeling, I tell folks, when I think of the Holocaust and the tragedy of the Holocaust and the fact that it was my ancestors, Palestinians, who lost their land and some lost their lives, their livelihood, their human dignity, their existence in many ways have been wiped out, and some people's passports, Tlaib said just after the 28-minute mark, and just all of it was in the name of trying to create a safe haven for Jews post the Holocaust, post the tragedy, and the horrific persecution of Jews across the world at that time. And I love the fact that it was my ancestors that provided that. Right, in many ways, but they did in a way that took their human dignity away, and it was forced on them. This is really, it's like, it's like walking up to somebody and saying, you know, yeah, that dress doesn't make you look as fat as you usually are. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's go back, because I don't think any of us are overly surprised at that, but horrendous nonetheless. And I wanted to show you this. Texas officials illuminate crosses after atheists call for removal. And I like this. I'm not going to read it all, but I just wanted you to be aware, because the Texas, I guess there were some atheists who wanted the crosses removed, and I guess maybe on courthouses and so forth. Let me see. Cold Spring, Texas, elected officials in an East Texas community defiantly illuminated the crosses on their courthouses, or on their courthouse, after an atheist organization told them to take them down. The move came after the country judge and commissioners voted unanimously to keep the 4 crosses on the country building. So I just wanted you to know that not everyone is caving to the pressure. It feels that way at times, and it appears that way at times, but it's not the truth. There are people that are standing up and doing the right thing in the face of all this. So anyway, I wanted to show you that, and let's go back. No, really, let's. And let's look at this. I thought this was amazing because I've got some other news that's not so cute and adorable, but this by Rob Christie says, Happy Mother's Day, and it has a picture of what looks to be a Labrador feeding a goat. So I just wanted you to see this. Okay, and that's enough of that. But I just thought it was adorable, and you know, sometimes we get too involved in the news, the bad news, and we forget that there's good out there. And this is adorable just because, and you know what? There's a lot of mothers that have adopted, and they're every bit as much of a mother as anyone. And there's those of us that have not had children, and we choose to adopt pets. So there you go. All right, and let's go back now that we've had a little intermission. and a little bit of, "Aw." I know you did that. I know you did. Don't even deny it. Seriously, don't deny it. I know you went, "Aw." You did. I know. All right. Yes, even you tough men out there. Uh-huh. You did. All right. Let's listen to this. Schiff, Trump shouldn't be allowed to investigate Joe Biden's ties to Ukraine. And, you know, like Schiff has any say over anything. Like anybody listens to Pencil Neck.
Friday, it would be appropriate for him to discuss a probe of Biden with the Attorney General. Is it appropriate?
Of course it's not appropriate. And what is so shocking to me, I served for many years on a democracy commission in the Congress where we would partner with parliaments in emerging countries, emerging democracies, and we would always say, when you win an election, you don't seek to jail the losing side. And here the President of the United States is saying it's perfectly okay for him, and he has said this before, to go to the Attorney General and get them to open an investigation of his rivals. And sadly, this Attorney General has turned out to be so political and so partisan and so frankly, without integrity, he just might do it. And, you know, that does add to the sense of crisis that these democratic norms are being broken down every day. The fact that we're not even done with this investigation of the last foreign interference in our election, and Giuliani, apparently with the president's, at least initially, knowledge and a blessing, was going to get the help of another foreign government in a presidential election. You know, it tells me that they not only think there's nothing wrong with this, if that's true, there's something wrong with them.
How about the underlying issue, though? There's no public evidence that the former vice president, took any inappropriate action to help his son. But was it right for Hunter Biden to take a job like that in Ukraine while his father was engaged in diplomacy there?
I don't know the circumstances in which he took the job, but I can say this vis-a-vis Joe Biden. There's no evidence, nor has there ever been any evidence, that he was doing anything but trying to get the Ukraine government to crack down on corruption. We're providing generous support to Ukraine. We're providing defensive weapons to Ukraine. We want Ukraine to be successful in its conflict with Russia. But part of that is having a government that the people of Ukraine are willing to fight for and protect. And they've had an endemic corruption problem. That's what Joe Biden was trying to address.
Right. You know, and the thing is, sometimes I look at somebody like Adam Schiff and I think, how is it even possible for someone to be that corrupt and that evil? Because he is literally just turning it around like, oh, it's not all right for the president to, you know, persecute or prosecute his rivals. But it was okay for those rivals to break the law and, you know, spy on him unwarranted. And, you know, the fact that there's no evidence, that's not true. It's not true. That, I mean, anybody can see that. We've even got Joe Biden himself bragging about getting the prosecutor in the Ukraine fired. He brags about it. And this was the one that was preventing his son from getting whatever. I know his son benefited enormously. So this is just unreal. And sometimes I wonder, how are these people, like, you know, this is what, you know, I am a believer, so I do believe in not only angels, but I believe in demons. And I think, you know, this has to be demonically inspired, because I can't see how anyone in their own natural, whatever, personhood, or I don't know how someone can be that evil and lie that well. Really. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, if I had to lie, I don't know if I could do it successfully. I mean, and I'm talking about a lie like, no, there aren't any Jews in my basement. You know, I mean, that's the kind of lies that save people. And to me, that is perfectly fine. And that happened a lot during the Holocaust. People hid Jews and saved their lives and had to lie about it. But I'm not sure I could, even in a case like that where I had to lie, because I'm not good at it. I'm just not very good at it. And I think these people have to be demonically inspired. Like people like Hillary, you just don't get to be that evil. How do you get to be that evil without being demonically inspired? I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's just me, but I don't get it. Like, even just listening to him, it makes my skin crawl, because I know he is a very evil man. He has engaged in evil activities, and yet he comes across so well, and he comes across well spoken. So the average person that's listening to this doesn't know all the background and says, oh yeah, that's right. Amazing to me. All right, let's go back. Okay, and let's look at this. Yeah, it's Adam Schiff again. Yeah. Oh, this man. Schiff, we are considering $25,000 a day fines for Trump officials who defy subpoenas. Yeah. Can you imagine? Let's listen.
Chairman leading an investigation, Adam Schiff of the House Intelligence Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks for joining us this morning. You heard the president right there. He says you all are going to elect him in 2020.
That's not going to happen, and I don't think this country could survive another 4 years of a president like this who gets up every day trying to find new and inventive ways to divide us. He doesn't seem to understand that a fundamental aspect of his job is to try to make us a more perfect union, but that's not at all where he's coming from, and he's going to be defeated. He has to be defeated, because I don't know how much more our democratic institutions can take of this kind of attack on the rule of law.
He has made it pretty clear he's not going to cooperate with most of the congressional investigations going on right now. And during the Obama administration, he declared executive privilege this week on the Attorney General Barr's testimony. During the Obama administration, when the House GOP held the Attorney General in contempt, Eric Holder in contempt, for failing to turn over documents from the Fast and Furious program, you called it partisan abuse. Here's what you said.
The Justice Department, after providing 8,000 documents and extensive testimony, is now being required to turn over privileged materials. And like all administrations before it, it has reluctantly used executive privilege to respectfully refuse to provide materials it cannot provide.
This Department of Justice is making exactly the same argument right now. They're saying they've turned over almost the entire Mueller report unredacted. The Attorney General, William Barr, has testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee. They're saying they're prevented by law from giving over this grand jury information. So what's the difference here?
There are categorical differences. First, the Obama administration made dozens of witnesses available to the Congress, provided numerous thousands of documents, as you just heard, to the Republicans in Congress. And yes, it made specific claims of privilege, but here the Trump administration has decided to say a blanket no to any kind of oversight whatsoever, no witnesses, no documents, no nothing, claiming executive privilege over things that it knows there is no basis for. There's no executive privilege over the hundreds of thousands of documents regarding events that took place before Donald Trump was president. You can't have a privilege, an executive privilege, when you're not the executive. So they know that vast categories are inapplicable.
Now, I didn't realize that this was 8 minutes long, and I don't want to play the whole 8 minutes because that's a long time of just listening to a video. But I did want you to know primarily, and there were some very, very interesting sound bites there regardless, but they are considering a $25,000 a day fine for Trump officials who defy subpoenas. Sunday on ABC's This Week, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Representative Adam Schiff said Democrats are considering using the power of inherent contempt to fine Trump officials who defy subpoenas $25,000 a day. Schiff said, "We are going to have to consider other remedies like inherent contempt if the courts take too long." He continued, "I think if you fine someone $25,000 a day to their person until they comply, it gets their attention." He added, "We're going to have to enforce our ability to do oversight." So that is scary, to say the least. Could you imagine being in the position of either having to testify to a very, very hostile court or face $25,000 a day fine to your person? Yeah. Unbelievable. It just gets worse and worse as far as I'm concerned. Now, found this, and this is from the 10th of December 2017, blunt and direct time. Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country, and this is a Q post from a year ago, over a year ago. Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country, leaker, national security, evil, TikTok, hope the 7.8 million was worth it. Enjoy the show. So just wanted to remind you who Adam Schiff is according to Q, and we still don't have the answers to the whole bit about the Standard Hotel, and we know there's a big story there. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to information coming out about little Adam Schiff. All right, and this from Donald J. Trump: big attacks on Republicans and conservatives by social media. Not good. Now, somebody brought it to my attention that there actually is a law against social media companies censoring free speech. And I was not aware of that. I kept thinking, okay, we need legislation. We need legislation. Well, we have it. So it needs to be enforced. So Donald Trump, I mean, he's a great president and he's done a lot of good, but he needs to enforce the law. They should not be able to, especially before, you know, an election, a federal election. You know, if you, that's interfering. It's interference in an election because none of the conservative voices get heard. So to me, that is interfering. But anyway, let's go on. Now, here's something that I know you're going to find really interesting. Now, this is from a year ago, but I guess I did know it, but I had forgotten it. I had forgotten about this. This from January 24th, 2017. Obama sent Palestinians $221 million hours before leaving office. Yeah, let that sink in. Washington officials say the Obama administration, in its waning hours, defied Republican opposition and quietly released $221 million to the Palestinian Authority that GOP members of Congress had been blocking. A State Department official and several congressional aides said the outgoing administration formally notified Congress it would spend the money Friday morning. The official said former Secretary of State John Kerry had informed some lawmakers of the move shortly before he left the State Department for the last time Thursday. The aide said written notification dated January 20th was sent to Congress just hours before Donald Trump took the oath of office. Wow. Yeah. So I guess I knew that, but with so much that's happened over the last year and a half, I mean, just think of all the information that has come out, all the drops of information that we have had over the last year and a half, and the things that Q, by asking us questions, has made us look into and discover for ourselves what has gone on. So there's so much water under the bridge at this point, although it's really not water under the bridge yet, but there's so much that has happened that it's just hard to remember everything. So I saw that and I went, holy, I forgot about that. So anyway, and maybe you did too, or maybe you guys never knew. I don't know. But here we go. Let's go back because we can. And look at this by Jim Hoft at the Gateway Pundit. Huge. Obama's State Department knew of Steele dossier in summer 2016 and passed on to FBI, linking Obama administration to fake dossier. So yeah, he is directly linked to that fake dossier, and he can say what he will, but the link is there. It was definitely with his approval and so forth. All right, now Let's look at this. Iran cleric warns U.S. Persian Gulf fleet, one missile will destroy you. Doesn't that sound like a threat? Sounds like a threat to me. A U.S. Navy force gathering in the Persian Gulf could be entirely destroyed with just one missile, an Iranian cleric warned late Friday. Their billion-dollar fleet can be destroyed with one missile. Ayatollah Yusuf and his last name I can't pronounce. I do apologize. Was quoted as saying by the ISNA news agency after Friday prayers in Isfahan, according to Reuters. If they attempt any move, they will face dozens of missiles because at the time, government officials won't be in charge to act cautiously, but instead, things will be in the hands of our beloved leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, added Nejad, who is the supreme leader's representation in Isfahan. That's hard to pronounce. Well, it is. Okay, so I'm not going to read any more of that, but yeah, not good. All right, let's go back. No, really, let's. Oh my God. Get away. Get away. All right, let's see what else we have to get into here. That's the calculator. We don't need that. All right, I wanted to show you this. And okay, I don't eat cookies. I really don't. Every once in a while, I'll make cookies if somebody's coming or whatever, but I just don't keep sweet stuff around the house at all except for fruit, generally, and maybe Lifesavers once in a while. That's when Sammy doesn't run off with them because for some reason he has a strange fascination with them. But anyway, after this, I will most certainly never buy Chips Ahoy. And let's take a look at this because perhaps you will feel the same way. All right. And yes, hang on. This actually comes from the official Chips Ahoy Twitter account. So this isn't just, a little parody or whatever. Like it's coming from their official account. All right, let's listen.
Y'all know what we celebrate today? Mother's Day, and I am so thankful to have a mother like mine who supports me through all my craziness and loves on me and buys me Chips Ahoy cookies, Chewy, the original, everything under the sun. My mom knows I love my cookies, so get those cookies. And what's a sweet gesture for you to do to your mama? Your real mama, your drag mama, whichever mama, somebody, whoever take care of you, whoever you feel or consider your mama. It's their day today. Get them a cookie, or two, a pack. Buy them all the Chips Ahoys in the world. I don't know. Or get some milk. Get her some milk too. You can't buy the cookie without some milk, honey. Get those cookies. It's Mother's Day. It's time to celebrate, love, all that. Cookies. Get them. And if you don't, how you going to celebrate Mother's Day? It's the new chocolates.
Yeah, well, I celebrated Mother's Day just fine without my Chips Ahoy. And they taste like crap anyway. I guess because I prefer to have home cooked stuff. Like if you're going to have cookies, make them real. Anyway, I never buy Chips Ahoy and I wouldn't, but now I definitely won't. So I can't even imagine an instance where I would go to the store and buy Chips Ahoy anyway. I'm just saying. All right. And this from Donald J. Trump. Ever since the Mueller report showed no collusion and no obstruction, the Dems have been working overtime to damage me and the Republican Party by issuing over 80 demands for documents and testimonies, and with no reason. That's all they want to do. Don't care about anything else. Yeah, how about they go to work for the American people who pays their salaries out of our taxes? How about they do that? Because I'm really, really sick of this and the money that they're wasting and the time that they're wasting. How about they actually do what the constituents pay them to do? How about that? I know it's so novel. I know it's revolutionary. Imagine what would happen if they actually did their jobs. I don't know. Because they haven't been doing their job. So I don't know what would happen if they did. It's an unknown. All right, now this from Cat Turd, and like I've said before, I love me some cat turd, just not in my litter box. Not my litter box, my cat's litter box. I don't use it. I prefer, more traditional means of elimination. All right, this from Cat Turd, and this is just about the most hysterical thing I've ever read. What's this sound? Zzz. Jerry Nadler unzipping his pants. That's funny. Come on. You laughed. Don't even say you didn't, because I know you did. Okay, if you didn't laugh out loud, you at least snickered on the inside. Okay, so yeah, Jerry Nadler unzipping his pants, but I guess he's doing a lot less of unzipping his pants because the liberal women are on sex strike. So they have said that they're not going to have sex, with their men. Now why they're punishing their men because of the Democrats, I don't know, but they're on strike. So I guess I don't know, less abortions. That's one thing, and another thing is Jerry Nadler's probably unzipping his pants a whole lot less now that they're on strike. Of course, he still has to go to the bathroom and unzip, but he probably has to think about going to the bathroom 5 or 10 minutes ahead of actually needing to get there so that he has time to unzip his pants, I guess. I don't know. All right. Now, this from Donald Trump. When the Mueller report came out showing no collusion with Russia, of course, it was supposed to be over. Back to work for the people. But the Dems have gone nuts, and it has actually gotten worse. Hope the Republicans win back the House in 2020, or little will get done. Well, if it's up to the Democrats, nothing will get done. And really, if it's up to the Democrat women, nothing will get done. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And this from the Trump train. Sick and tired of Democrat politicians wasting your taxpayer money on phony investigations. Vote them out in 2020. Oh, I think we intend to. All righty. Yeah, I don't get why the conservative or the liberal women are punishing their men, because they're probably married to other liberals, right? Because I just can't see a conservative man, a Republican, wanting to marry those liberal feminists because they're bristly. It's like, you can't hug that. It's just anger all the time. You can't cuddle with that. It's like just bristles all the time, like Brillo pad. Seriously. It's like sleeping with a Brillo pad. I don't get it. Why punish the men? What'd they do? I don't know. But they somehow think that, and gee, that's not manipulative, is it? I'm not going to have sex with my man because I don't agree with the conservatives. So I'm just going to stop having sex with my man. Who does that? Dan Bongino. What Mueller and Wiseman did to Trump was an abomination of justice. When the real story comes out, it'll be clear how unethical and malicious they were. They didn't exonerate Trump. Trump exonerated Trump because he did nothing wrong. And Mueller knew it the whole time. Love me some Dan Bongino. Yeah, if you want to listen to, it's on YouTube. You can just type in Dan Bongino. Go to his show. He has a good show. I listen to it almost every day. Not every day, but I usually listen to it while I'm doing other things. And it's a good show. So there you go. Now, I love this. This by John Cardillo. He said, Trump just might be a genius. Oh, I think he is, personally. Trump compared Pete Buttigieg to Mad Magazine's Alfred E. Newman. President Donald Trump ridiculed Mayor Pete Buttigieg on Friday, describing him as Alfred E. Newman, the cartoon icon from Mad Magazine. Well, look, I'm going to make this bigger so you people on your tiny little phones can see it. You're not tiny phone people. You're tiny phone people. But look, the similarity is astounding. Astounding. I like the way that sounds. Astounding. Okay, it is. Seriously, astounding. Look at the similarities. I mean, all he has to do is black out a tooth, and it's him. It's him. Very similar haircut. Yeah. I mean, it's right there. All right. I can't remember what this is right here. Oh, yes. Look at this. This is good news. Giuliani files impeachment papers for Pelosi on behalf of the White House. And on behalf of people everywhere, thank you, Rudy Giuliani. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Just saying. We do. Rudy Giuliani walked into the First Circuit Court of Writs today and filed articles of impeachment for Nancy Pelosi. Giuliani, considered one of the most talented legal minds of his generation, said the time had come for action. The president is tired of the shenanigans and fake news Congress turning everything he does into something he shouldn't have done. We have the best economy of all times, and the country is getting all of its manufacturing and coal jobs back. Prices on candy bars in New York City are down more than 20% this year. Gas is dropping. The Democrats are trying everything in their cheater playbook, including trying to convict a sitting president for his crimes, which can't be done even if there were crimes. The Ninth Amendment is clear on that. Yeah. Giuliani says the articles of impeachment were filed in Rehnquist Hall on behalf of the White House and the great people of the United States of America. The articles seek to have Pelosi impeached, removed, and tried for treason for her role in the Mueller witch hunts. In order for the executive branch impeachment of a sitting congresswoman to be successful, the Senate has to approve the measure by a simple majority, which Trump has, because she's the Speaker of the House under Article 7, Section 15. The House will get no vote on her impeachment because of the conflict of interest. It's always fun to point and laugh when the other side clearly doesn't understand how things work. Yeah. Tell me this is not the greatest thing of all time, one of the greatest things of all time, because they don't get to vote. They don't get to vote. It goes to the Senate. And that's what, remember Trump said we were after the Senate the whole time. We wanted the Senate. Yeah. So, you know, when Trump was saying, you know, oh, I think Nancy Pelosi would be a good Speaker of the House. I think that yeah, she'd be a really good Speaker of the House, and she deserves it. I wonder if he wanted her to be Speaker of the House for this reason. They don't get a vote because it's a conflict of interest. So it goes to the Senate, and they have the majority. So how do you like that? How do you like that? We may be hearing a whole lot less from Nancy Pelosi, and that makes me very, very happy. Best Mother's Day gift ever. And if you haven't heard this already, then it is my gift to you. So there you go. Tell me this isn't the greatest news. Seriously. Oh, I love it. No, really, I do. All right. I just get myself tickled sometimes. Just thinking about it makes me very happy. All right. And here we go. The good news just won't stop. Just in, Jeb Bush, super PAC, hit with massive FEC fine for accepting $1.3 million in illegal donations from Chinese corporation. It just gets better and better and better. Just don't even deny it. This is good. Good. If it's true, then he needs to be hit. Jeb Bush, the FEC, Federal Election Commission, hit Jeb Bush's super PAC with a $390,000 fine for illegally accepting $1.3 million in donations from a Chinese corporation. Chinese. Let that sink in. Chinese. All right. And I do have a few more things here, but it is getting on in time. Yes, it is. But let me see here. Let me see what this is. No, really, let me just see what it is. Could be something that you just don't want to miss. Or not. Oh, yes. He has called for the annihilation of Israel, praised Hamas terrorism, called gay relationships a disease. Imagine the outcry if he were Christian, Jewish, and said the same. And last week he was invited by Speaker Pelosi to lead the U.S. House of Representatives in prayer. One of the reasons why I'm overjoyed that she is on her way to being impeached. So let's listen to this. Ayman gives the Ramadan invocation at the opening of Thursday's House of Representatives session at the invitation of Nancy Pelosi. I'm just reading that for you guys who may be on a small phone and unable to see it. Ayman Omar Suleiman has a long record of incendiary social media statements about Israel. He has on multiple occasions wished for a third Palestinian intifada or violent uprising, likened Israeli troops to Nazis, and has wished for the end of Zionism, calling Zionists the enemies of God. He is a backer of the Boycott Israel movement.
This will be in order. The prayer will be offered by the guest chaplain, Imam Omar Suleiman, from the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research in Irving, Texas.
For the first time since 1967, Masjid al-Aqsa is closed. A third intifada is near, and this is a tweet by him. I'm not going to read all that. Oh, well, hang on. Maybe I am. How befitting that the third Intifada starts on the 27th night of Ramadan, as worshippers are denied prayer in Masjid al-Aqsa. I can't pronounce all these words. The march throughout Palestine is growing, and all of the families in East Jerusalem are in the streets. Meanwhile, apartheid Israel is using live ammunition on the crowds. The downfall of the apartheid regime of South Africa started this way. See Sharpeville massacre, and God willing, on this blessed night, as the third Intifada begins, the beginning of the end of Zionism is here. May Allah help us overcome this monster, protect the innocent of the world, and accept the murdered as martyrs. Amen. That was the prayer, I believe. Please read this with an open heart, as it's not meant to be a rant, but a sincere advice to my brothers and sisters. The days are very near that disagreeing with homosexuality will be just as bad as being a racist. While 64% of those under 30 back same-sex marriage, only 27%. Well, that I happen to. I don't happen to agree with that lifestyle, but I still think that they deserve their rights. As we live in a time where people increasingly have no problem disagreeing with their own scriptures, which they consider divine, we must remember that as Muslims, we cannot reject one letter of the Book of Allah. I'm not writing this to discuss political stances, but rather the concept of submission, which makes us Muslims, those who submit in the first place. When Allah describes homosexuality as a repugnant, shameless sin and details his punishment of a people that practice sodomy, how can anyone who believes in Allah not find it immoral? And Linda Sarsour and I'm sure you know that name, a beautiful, moving, and timely prayer by Imam Omar Suleiman on the House floor today at the U.S. Capitol. Born and raised in Louisiana, currently lives and preaches in Dallas, Texas. Now, I'm just saying that, okay, the stance on homosexuality with Christianity and with Islam is the same. However, can you imagine if a Christian had said that? Just think about it.
Approval for
But he hasn't been banned from Twitter.
pursuant to clause 1 of bullet 1.
So that is that. It kind of blew my mind that they had this man offer the prayer. Really, it really did. All right, let's go back, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's go here. Just about done. Come on, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Kim Stossel discusses what she wrote about in her column today regarding how very powerful people in D.C. are panicking because A.G. Barr is investigating how the whole Russia hoax started. This is why they are frantically trying to discredit him. And, of course, we know that to be true. And let's...
Yeah, well, it's certainly not because of the Mueller report, because look, Barr did exactly what they wanted him to. He handed over a barely redacted report quickly, and one, by the way, that was highly critical of the president. They have nothing to complain about. So what you're really seeing here are people expressing their fear, because there are a lot of very powerful people that will be affected by this. Current and former intelligence officials, senior most level people in the Democratic Party, people in the media, the folks who leaked classified information and could potentially go to jail. And they have successfully, for a couple of years, managed to make sure there was no oversight at the Department of Justice, no outsider taking a look at this. Barr not only has come in, but he says that he will not back down from his saying he's going to finally get some answers out, and that is provoking the reaction. The goal here is to demean him and hurt his integrity, to try to undermine whatever he ultimately puts out.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's not about the Mueller report. It's about them being afraid of what A.G. Barr is going to do to them. And I think we all realize that, but I know I'm stating the obvious there. All right. And one last one. And okay. Now, I want to play this. I love this song too, but the Lord our God is now welcome in the White House, and it's causing those who hate God to literally go crazy. What a beautiful sound of praise and worship coming from the highest office of the land. We don't worship government, we worship God. Now, this is absolutely beautiful, and I've always loved this song, so I'm just going to play a few minutes of it. It's only 39 minutes long, so...
What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus.
What a change. What a change. That would never have happened in the Obama White House. So I just, you know, our country really was founded on Christian principles. And so, you know, to me, it's always been a travesty that they're trying to remove God. They've removed God from the schools. They've removed, you know, even trying to take down crosses from courthouses and so forth. They wanted the 10 Commandments taken from courthouses. So this just, it warms my heart. I know that you're not all believers, and you may disagree with my stance, and I understand if you're not believers why you would, but I see this as a very, very beautiful thing. All right, and just about done here. I wanted to show you this meme. And of course, this is a group of Democrats, which we will recognize. There's Schiff, there's Nadler, Pelosi, Rashid, I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. That's definitely Maxine Waters. Oh, and then there's the guy with the Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh my gosh, that guy's too much. His skullet, it's a mullet, but you got a bald spot there, it's a skullet. I pledge allegiance to impeach Trump and undo the 2016 election by using committees for which we chair one party, using subpoenas and endless investigations with tyranny and injustice for all. And isn't that their motto? It seems to be. Anyway, that's it for tonight. That's it for Q-related news. I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have more Q-related news. Or if Q posts tomorrow, I will be bringing you that, and it depends on how much he posts, whether or not I will get to the Q-related news tomorrow. Anyways, I will see you then. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe, and always seek truth.